Kyle, as we sit here 5 weeks into the NFL season, I don't think it's possible for me to gush more about Brock Purdy, but I sure as hell am going to try. Brock Purdy just absolutely decimates the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. 4 passing touchdowns, over 70% completion percentage. He now has 9 touchdowns on the year to 0 interceptions, running away with QBR, running away with passer rating, and still one of the most disrespected quarterbacks in the league. I don't know if you saw this, obviously trending all over Bay Area Twitter, but Mr. Steven Ruiz of The Ringer had him as the 25th ranked quarterback in the NFL. 25th, didn't seem like a 25th best quarterback performance on Sunday night. What do you make of it?
I work at a Sacramento radio station. Yes, I saw the Steven Ruiz article. Yes, I saw that Brock Purdy was ranked below Mac Jones, which is kind of funny to think about in hindsight. The Brock Purdy thing is so confusing at this point that it feels like people are trying to figure out where he is, and in doing so are stepping over each other and stepping over themselves at times, because like Brock Purdy's the number one passer in the league right now. He has thrown 0 interceptions and has had the fewest interceptable passes this season. Now, he's also ranked 26th in total passes, which is another part of the game for Brock Purdy. He doesn't throw the ball as much because he isn't asked to throw the ball as much, because the San Francisco 49ers offense is built around Christian McCaffrey. The San Francisco 49ers are often blowing teams out, so they don't need to throw the ball as much, or like on Sunday, are taking Brock Purdy out of the game. And another strange quirk, the 49ers aren't really dominating time of possession like you might expect from a team that is the best in the NFL. And it's not hard to go out on a limb and say they're the best in the NFL. DVOA, number one ranked team in the league. Expected win-loss record, number one team in the league. SRS rankings, which is if you took a league average opponent and put them on a neutral field, what is your point spread? The 49ers are 18-point favorites against a league average opponent. The next closest team is 11. They are far and away the best team in the league, and as a result, Brock Purdy has statistics that would back up the fact that they are the best team in the league, because you don't get to be that dominant without a quarterback doing something right.
And if I did not know anything about football and I just flipped on last night's game, the Sunday night game, and I saw what Brock Purdy was doing, the tape is starting to speak for itself. Like, some of the plays that he is making are above average quarterback plays. The decision making, Brian Baldinger does great breakdowns of Brock Purdy film, and the anticipation that he's throwing these balls with, and he's just lacing them. And I've seen the common criticism, is he just a dinker and dunker? Absolutely not. Brock Purdy is not dinking and dunking his way to the success that we're seeing. In the Sunday night game alone, you just saw him just zipping balls 10, 20, 30 yards downfield. There was a great throw he had to Brandon Ayuk that got called back because of penalty. If you added that to the stat line, then already great night looks just that much more imposing. Everything that Brock Purdy's doing, it's not just jumping off of the box score. If you're just box score watching, you're missing out. You're missing out on what Brock Purdy is doing on the film. And we've had so many debates about Jimmy Garoppolo over the last few years, and I still like Jimmy Garoppolo as a player. Brock Purdy is so much better than Jimmy. That goes without saying, but I need to say it right now. Just the athleticism, the decision-making, the anticipation, the mobility, the fact that Brock Purdy can get up and move. And it came out today that the Brock Purdy, his evaluation by the 49ers, they evaluate him as a 4th-round pick. So they actually got him below what they were expecting him to go in that draft. And as we sit here today, especially knowing what the 2022 draft ended up becoming, Brock Purdy should have been a 1st-round pick. He should have won above Kenny Pickett. That goes without saying. That's unquestioned. So everyone missed out. So the only reason you can really discount Brock Purdy at this point is you're just looking at Mr. Irrelevant and still holding that against him right now.
It's funny you say that, because guess who Kyle Shanahan also had evaluated as a 4th-round pick? That would be Mr. Kirk Cousins, the quarterback he drafted back. Well, he didn't draft. The team drafted back in 2012 when he was with Washington. And everyone's made jokes for years that Kirk Cousins is the ideal quarterback for what Kyle Shanahan wants to do, because I mean, we've seen it for a couple of years now. He takes a very good quarterback and makes them great. He takes a great quarterback and makes him MVP level, and he takes an average quarterback and makes them very good. In that equation, I'm obviously talking about RG3 and Matt Ryan and Jimmy Garoppolo down the line of Kyle Shanahan quarterbacks. And so you see what the offense has become. You see what San Francisco's building, not just with him, but with Brock Purdy now. And look, Brock Purdy is at a certain point a victim of his own success just in terms of public perception, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't really matter at all. But in the conversation that we're having in week 5 of the NFL season, when the Niners are the best team in the NFL, and we're running out of nice things to say about Brock Purdy's undefeated start to his career, yeah, it's going to become a conversation about where he was drafted and how other teams evaluated him. Even for someone like myself, who has said from the very beginning, he is not Patrick Mahomes, but he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. And the answer lies somewhere in between. And 5 games or 12 games is still not enough of a sample size, especially with this team, to pin down exactly where he is, because it's really hard to understand NFL offenses, period. Now let's talk about an offense that even NFL people don't understand in what the San Francisco 49ers are doing.
But even through that, even with saying small sample size, what you've seen, you have to be blown away by what you've seen. Even just with this 12-game sample size, to even have him in the back half of quarterback conversation, which you're talking about, if you're talking about spots 15 through 22, is kind of insane. I mean, he is showing that he's at least knocking on the door of top 10. Now, I know I've seen a lot of people listing out all the quarterbacks in the league, and would you take him over that guy? Would you take this guy over him? Would you take that guy over him? And he keeps falling roughly around 10 to 12 for most people. Micah Parsons put a number on it, said top 15 before this game. I think Micah Parsons might have to reevaluate his own ranking after what happened on Sunday night. But I think when I look at all the quarterbacks who I would have above him, like Patrick Mahomes, of course, right? Josh Allen, of course. Joe Burrow is a made man despite the struggles this year. Lamar is an MVP. But then there's a lot of gray area. And just even comparing him with the other quarterback that was on the field on Sunday night, Dak Prescott, absolutely 110%. I am taking him above Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, maybe he was an elite quarterback at one point in his NFL career, but whatever he is not that now. At this point, Dak Prescott is nothing more than an overpaid, mediocre quarterback. Just putting it bluntly, Brock Purdy, obviously the best value in the NFL at this point. A guy that's making $800,000 and is giving you, even at the very least, if you're not saying he's top 10, he's giving you a top 10. Hell, he's giving you a top 5 stat line for $800,000. In some categories, he's giving you the best stat line in the NFL for $800,000. It's just ridiculous. And you talk about the Niners and just their ability to fart out all pros. Well, this is just another great example, because if you were putting your Pro Bowl ballot today, you're going to tell me that Brock Purdy's not in the top 3 for NFC quarterbacks? You're crazy.
Oh, he definitely is. And in my opinion, Jalen Hurts last year is proof that you can be an MVP candidate and also not a top 5 quarterback. Those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive, right? So Brock Purdy is clearly an MVP frontrunner, and I can name 7 quarterbacks I would definitively think, if you put in the Niners offense, would be doing exactly the same thing. But the number kind of slows down after like 8, 9, or 10, because that's when you get into the Kirk Cousins territory. And the Dak Prescott point you bring up is true. Dak Prescott has regressed, whether that's a byproduct of him and the offense. I don't know exactly which is to blame for what. It's hard to pin it down when Brian Schottenheimer and Mike McCarthy are now calling your plays. You've subtracted 3 of their very good skill position players. I don't know exactly what part is Dak and what part isn't, but there's clearly been a regression there. But I don't think him regressing compared to what Brock Purdy's doing on the field are necessarily good comparison points, just because of how differently they do things. I mean, you listed 5 quarterbacks who you would say definitively are better than Brock Purdy. I would throw in Justin Herbert into that group, even though I think it was Michael Irvin who was saying Brock Purdy was over Justin Herbert or something like that. But I think kind of the group of like Jalen Hurts, Tua, and Brock Purdy, I think of all as being very similar in that they're putting up very good numbers, but they also have incredibly skilled, talented players around them that are clearly more talented than they are. And so it's hard to pin down exactly where they fall for different reasons. Jalen Hurts, Tua, and Brock Purdy all kind of get lumped into the same group, just because that makes it easier for me to kind of evaluate them.
Now, I'm not the type to burn bridges, so I'm not going to bury Steven Ruiz too much. But if you're him today, Are you doubling down on this? Are you moving him up your rankings because you know you're getting roasted either way? Or are you just staying pat? I know you're a bit of a sports cynic, so empathizing with Steven Ruiz here. What do you do?
It depends how serious you take yourself. I mean, Steven Ruiz is very good at doing the football analysis thing. He used to work for Football Outsiders. I think he's over at the Ringer now. Like, I've listened to him do podcasts before. Like, he's a very smart football mind. He's not someone who's out here just like being fun out here. But if you don't take yourself seriously, just lean into it. Just laugh at it. If Niner fans don't like you, Niner fans don't like you. The best you can do is make some jokes about it and kind of live with the results. But yeah, I mean, most people recognize Brock Purdy's not that. I mean, there are people who are kind of poo-pooing the whole outcome at this point, and I've been the person who keeps saying small sample size, small sample size. I don't even have enough of sample size on Jalen Hurts to know what Jalen Hurts is as a quarterback, nonetheless Brock Purdy. But at the same time, like, the evidence does speak for itself.
In fairness, it's kind of reminds me of the Brooklyn Nets situation for you a couple of years back. You just got to double down, right? Keep them in that top 5, even as they inevitably got swept by the Celtics. Well, that's going to do it for us. Go ahead and let us know in the comments section how you are feeling through 5 weeks of Niners football. Brock Purdy, MVP candidate. Steven Ruiz still trying to figure out his quarterback rankings. What are your quarterback rankings? We want to know. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on all our social medias. From Juju and Kyle, stay safe, happy, and healthy. We'll see you next time.